Now, marketing. Okay, Reg D marketing. Online general solicitation. We have an investor member base of accredited investors that you're welcome to email to. We'll encourage and facilitate that with the marketing agency involved. You aren't going to raise all your money there because our investor list is too small. We don't abuse them. We respect them. They don't get inundated with emails. But each offering is so different than the other. I think that the only way we'll raise money easily from our investor base is when we have more than 1 million investors that are not abused. And that these days there are big platforms like Start Engine with giant investor lists, but they abuse the privilege. So there's all sorts of restrictions there in terms of the effectiveness of being able to access those people. Okay, but advertising is the real issue here is that advertising outreach is the most effective vehicle, and there are some exceptions with email. We're working exclusively with a startup email company that has rebuilt the email system. They vertically integrated and use AI in judicious, careful ways, but also do very intelligent things with getting email delivered to recipients in an effective way for a 506c offering. So this is a rare exception to where what I've seen in the main with email with bought and rented lists of supposedly or actually accredited investors. Generally, those email outreach programs are very ineffective. I've seen that chapter and verse. Advertising outreach through social media is the best way. Google isn't very good. LinkedIn isn't very good. Twitter/X isn't very good, although that might change because that's a moving target. But advertising is the outreach vehicle that does work. Targeting, using the right right investor targeting methods, which is a state-of-the-art thing that is constantly evolving. So if we're working together, I'll be advising you and the advertising agency in order to make sure that they're doing the right work to target the right people and bring them in cost effectively. One of the nice things about this method is that it's easy to see quickly how cost effective it is, how much resonance we're getting from the advertising and from the offering page. It doesn't take months and months or even weeks and weeks to tell whether we have successful engagement or not. Not to say that everyone's going to rush in and invest on day one. With accredited investors, they will take their time and consider what they're doing, but they will be investing over time. But the point here is that we can easily track the cost of acquisition of each lead, and that tells us an abundance of things, right? And then, of course, the conversion rate of those leads into investors is also easy, although not instant, to figure out. So my point here is that you don't spend a lot of money up front in advertising. Typically, $10,000 of ad spend per month is enough first month to ascertain which ads are working best, which messaging is working best. You're obviously not going to raise much money on a 10K ad spend, but getting that efficiency of conversion into prospects and then optimizing the conversion of those prospects into actual investors is key, and we build that efficiency over time. We are not a marketing agency. We're involved in too many things to be allowed to be a marketing agency, but we advise you and we advise the marketing agency to maximize their efficiency and your efficiency of the outreach. Okay. You don't need a broker-dealer. You're allowed to have a broker-dealer on a Reg D. Generally, it isn't going to help much because, excuse me, in these online raises, broker-dealer, even if they intend to raise money from the get-go, when it's a blank slate, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to put their client relationships at risk for an unproven offering. Once we've done the heavy lifting together to bring in prospects and get them to invest and have a good result from that, it's going to take a little while to do that. Once we have that success, if we think it's less expensive to bring in investors through a broker-dealer, then adding one would make sense. Very rarely the case in a Reg D that would add value. A big part of there was a question in the preamble for the folks who were here before we got started about how to target, how to find accredited investors. The problem isn't so much finding them, it's getting their attention, in my view, because they have so many and such an abundance of places to put their money. That's one thing, is being exciting enough for them to care. Another one is that I'd have to say, probably intentionally, if you go for the most wealthy segment of investors on Instagram and on Facebook, they still deliver an abundance of people that aren't accredited. Probably they're doing that for their selfish reasons to bring in more money to their coffers, but it isn't helpful to us, right? So it is difficult. Some of you guys are familiar probably with the way online advertising works in today's market, in today's world. There's a lot you can do with targeting of advertising to fine tune it. And these platforms, these social media platforms, they have AI software that is tracking. It's up to us to make sure we get early effectiveness, and that from that effectiveness, then their AI will track, oh, we got another one of those people that like this company enough to invest. Let's get more of those. They continually adjust through their AI to find the right people, and it's up to us to nudge it and adjust it and tweak it enough to make that work quickly, to get the efficiency of outreach as high as humanly possible.